Chris Brockman. Well, what did I?
Okay, brother.
Okay.
Here's what you missed. Sunday,
okay.
the big news, big NFL news. Sunday, Pats tight end Rob Gronkowski announced on Instagram what had been speculated last year.
Yes.
And after the Super Bowl this year, he is retiring from the NFL after 9 seasons.
Okay. So these are now all subject matters that you're about to throw to me, or subject matters that I missed while I was
You
gone.
missed in the last 10 days.
The conversation about Gronk being a first ballot Hall of Famer
got
sparked right away. And that's an absurd conversation, a positively absurd conversation. If he is not the member of the Canton class of 2024, the only reason why he will not be is if for some reason Brady gives him a call later on this fall and says, come back, and he does, because he misses it, and he's still a 29-year-old guy. Or he'll be 30 at the time. He turns 30 in a couple of months. This guy is one of the greatest tight ends to ever lace them up. We haven't seen anybody like him, and I know Gates and he can go in together if Gates doesn't play this year, and Gates is a first ballot Hall of Famer as well. Tony Gonzalez goes in this year as well. What Gronk has done, he is just an absolute positive animal that we just have not seen at the position. The moves that he could make at that size, the sheer force of what he did with his size. I will say this, with all due respect to my Mishbuka wide receiver that just was the MVP. Mishbuka wears a tight family here. Is a fellow Hebrew.
Sometimes.
And Randy Moss. Rob Gronkowski is the most dynamic, the best offensive player Tom Brady has played with. Period. End of story. That's how good Rob Gronkowski is as a first ballot Hall of Famer. I can't even believe we haven't had a conversation. As I tweeted out, and I will say here, I think it is safe for this work. If I tweeted it out to 1.1 million followers at Rich Eisen, I should say it here. The reason why Gronk retired now is because he will go in as a first ballot guy 6 years from now after playing 9.
Nice.
And we'll end it at that.
I was hoping he would have saved his retirement for June 9th to announce it on that day.
Understood. Now you're hitting the hammer a little bit too much on top of the nails.
Just throwing it out there. Okay, secondly, Rich, not sure if you saw this. After day 1 of the NCAA tournament, Tom Izzo got into some heat with some people for his reaction to freshman Aaron Henry's play as he was coming off the court. A finger in the face. He was... The pictures, the video, was very animated, to say the least.
I saw that.
A lot of people had a problem with that. Did you?
I had no problem with it. Look, he didn't lay hands on the kid.
Had to be separated.
I understand that. And so many people were viewing this in the terms of this is a billion-dollar industry. Literally, the tournament makes $1 billion for the NCAA. And Kelvin Sampson of Houston is going to join us later on. He thinks some of that would be sliced up and given to kids to make sure that their parents have some sort of travel stipend to make sure that they attend these kids' games when they can't afford it. And we're now looking at Izzo is in the face of a player, treating him like a professional player, and the kid's not getting paid, and Izzo's getting paid millions. But Izzo's getting paid millions to coach this young man. And we've had Izzo on the show, and we know he's the best man at Mariucci, and that might make me a little biased, but that also makes me more aware of who Izzo is. I'm not there on Izzo's recruiting trips, but I'm sure he looked in the face of this young man and this young man's family and said, I'm going to coach you. I'm going to coach you hard. And look at mom and dad and say to Aaron Henry's parents, I'm going to get on him. But he's going to be a better man and a better player for it. And the way that you saw the rest of the players reacting looked to me as that was a healthy situation where they were calming the coach down in the same way that you can sometimes see family members of mine calm me down. And that 100,000% of all the people that were tweeting out about, hey, you know, Izzo shouldn't have said to the reporter, at your job, your editor can get on you. Right. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you should be able to accept that. I think that's what Tom said. I kind of am paraphrasing what he had to say.
Then he kind of made fun of it about the halftime speech of round 2.
So I had an editor at the Staten Island Advance who made me miserable.
Okay.
Miserable. And I didn't think he had a single ounce of trying to make me a better reporter. I think it was all just somebody in a power trip. Honestly. I really did. This guy, Tom Izzo, is going to be there for Aaron Henry the rest of his life. And they all know that. And this is called coaching. It's coaching. And I understand the players aren't getting paid, but this is the construct of the game. It's coaching. Do you know how many times on this vacation in Italy we had to discipline our kids because they weren't listening? And when they were talking back, that made me even more enraged? And how it might have looked to somebody who was watching from the outside in, and it looked like I was being disrespected, and I might have been a little bit more too aggressive with my kids. I didn't lay hands on them, but I got upset. That's what that looked like to me.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.